Ohio State came into the spring knowing it had to find 3 new starters on the offensive line. It comes out of the spring still looking for 3 new starters on the offensive line. Today, Saturday at the spring game, it was a 40-31 victory for the defense, the Gray, but that was actually even propped up because of the sort of ceremonial touchdown run for Archie Griffin in the third quarter. So really only 24 points for the offense today, and the first-string offense didn't get on board until the fourth quarter. So, Doug, you were kind of the guy for us who's really watching the offense today. What did you see from this offensive line, the way that they moved guys in and out, and who was getting opportunities, especially with the ones?
So there are definitely 4 guys they treated as starters. Josh Fryer at left tackle, Donovan Jackson at left guard, Carson Hinsman at center, and Matthew Jones at right guard. That's no surprise. They were out there with the ones most of the time. Right tackle's a split. Zen Michalski ran with the ones the first series, then Tegra Shabola came in the second series. Then they both basically rotated with the ones and twos all day. I think that battle goes to the last day of preseason camp in August. The rest of the time, you did see some other guys work in. Vic Cutler is clearly the second-team center. He worked in a little bit with the ones. At right guard, behind Matthew Jones, you saw some Enoch Vamahe. You saw some Toby Wilson. And at left guard, you saw some, this is the great Ben Chrisman behind Donovan Jackson, and you saw some George Fitzpatrick behind Josh Fryer. But I do think they've talked about the line. I don't think, we know Donovan Jackson and Matthew Jones are sure thing starters. Hinsman and Fryer aren't there yet, but they're certainly ahead of the twos, and the right tackle job is a toss-up.
2 things are happening at once right now. The offensive line clearly has a ways to go. The defensive line is coming into its own a little bit, though. Some of these guys, third-year guys, JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer, Mike Hall, you were starting to see Kenyatta Jackson do some things. Right, Stephen, there's 2 things are meeting right now. And where Ohio State needs the offensive line to get better, it's an offensive line that's getting pushed all spring, has gotten pushed and or abused at times all spring by what this pass rush can do, what this defensive front can do.
And what makes it difficult is the offensive line is trying to develop while also probably learning blocking schemes and everything else that comes with the offensive line. While JT, Mike, and Jack, if it's a passing, just go get the quarterback. And they're very good at going to get the quarterback. Now, and I've been saying this for weeks, let's see if they can do that in the fall, because we've been here before with the defensive line. But with the offensive line, they're figuring some stuff out. And we might walk in the fall camp and some things might look a little differently, depending on what happens with the transfer portal or just how guys continue to progress throughout the summer, whichever one or something else out there. But it's very clear right now from the defensive line standpoint, we know who the guys are. Can you show up in the fall and not just in the spring? While the offensive line, it's like, okay, let's put a pin in this conversation and let's see what happens when we get to the fall camp. And 1, what things look like, but 2, are guys just better in a way that you feel a little bit more comfortable and you can breathe.
Yeah, the other thing that happened today besides the spring game is the transfer portal opened today. 2 weeks it'll be open, or 15 days, I think, and we'll see if Ohio State gets involved again. They did bring Vic Cutler in for that, but as Doug was saying, right now he's more of a backup piece. Is there somebody that comes into the portal that can make a difference on what the first-string offensive line is going to be for opening day, or is what we saw today going to be the group that they picked that from? Much more about that on Buckeye Talk, wherever you can find podcasts, and get the text 614-350-3315. News, analysis, commentary, nonsense, everything else all season long from Buckeye Talk.